Welcome back to part two of my interview with Tom Harrison of the Diverse Talent Agency. We are going to be talking this week about managers and how they fit into the whole scheme of things, and does an actor even need a manager? Let's ask Tom.
Right off the bat, do they
Go right
necessarily
to
don't boy, Mark. I think there's some incredible managers in this city, and I would say 95% of my client list has management.
Okay.
So
Why?
certain managers really add a lot. They really do. And is everyone great? There's a lot of agents that aren't great. So on both sides of the coin, there are people that are in this business that aren't necessarily effective, or so. Yeah, but look, the managers, some of the management companies I work with produce and package and put together shows, and other, are out there just trying to get appointments and scratching and digging and doing the best they can for their clients.
Can you give me an example of a great manager who you maybe have multiple clients with, and why? Why are they somebody that you've chosen to be in business with to that degree?
Look, I do everything from Brillstein Gray to companies like Vanguard. David Gus was an agent for years and years and years, and was a legend as an agent. So, he's one of those guys, if I need advice, I literally turn to. And David's a brilliant advisor. He has incredible taste. He's got a great staff. Brillstein Gray, it speaks for itself. Their list is incredible. And they have great insight, and most of them really understand what my side of the fence is, and those type people, and there's a lot that I can go on and talk about that I've worked with. To me, are real partners with your clients, and they do an incredible job. So,
For definition purposes, I think a lot of actors wonder, what's the difference between what an agent does and a manager does? Because I think a lot of actors think that they're just getting two of the same thing. It's duplication.
I think the line has washed in the last couple, especially the last 10 years. When I started out, the manager controlled every faction of that client, the way they looked and everything else, where they studied and all that, and they stayed away from getting appointments. They didn't need to so much. But the competition is so fierce now that I think that line's kind of washed, where, it's another set of hands that are making phone calls on a client's behalf. The thought process is, on a manager's front, they have a smaller client list and they're much more focused. As agents, it's really about going out and pounding all kinds of opportunities. The manager kind of filters through and says, we're going in this direction, we're going in this direction. And if the person has a large commercial career or a print and modeling career at the same time, they're managing a pretty heavy schedule for someone. And as an agent, I can't do that for a full client list where I'm also managing that big of, that kind of volume. And hopefully all my clients have tons of volume to deal with.
Sure, of course. What would the typical process be? Let's take just client X. We won't mention any names, but just say a typical client who has you as an agent, and they have a manager. Each step of the way, who does what? Do you submit? Do you negotiate?
Usually we're submitting, and usually we're negotiating, but I filter it back through the manager. But look, as an agent, if I'm speaking to a director and you're testing for a pilot, and you give me a note to give my actor, I'm not going to call a manager with that piece of information. That's like that's playing telephone. If I have a direct piece of information, I'm absolutely on the phone with the client. And even actors, I think one of the mistakes that gets made in our business is that if you do have a manager, that you never speak to the agent. We are the guy that's online in the trenches doing the day-to-day stuff. You have to build a relationship with your agent. I think that's one of the symptoms that's come about that's harmful in our business. And it's funny because in the last couple of years, because of the computer and everything else, we've depersonalized our business.
Yeah.
Don't you find now that people email you, and your short list of people that you talk to as agents has has gotten shorter, and your personal connection to them has really dried up.
It's more of an effort. You have to really get on the phone and say, let's go have lunch, let's go get FaceTime, to preserve relationships. And it's people that I've known a long time or know particularly well. And I've absolutely found that agents and managers newer, they don't even know that is part of the
That's part
process.
of it.
I've never met them.
Right.
I may never have spoken with them on the phone. I absolutely agree with that. And it's actually something that concerns me, because I think at the high level, those things are still going on. I think meetings and FaceTime is happening for people like George Clooney, whereas the developmental people are getting relegated to emails.
Well, to me, that's the dirty secret in town that no agent or manager talks about, is when you're shopping at those smaller agencies, people talk about, it's about my relationships out there. That's not true anymore. It's really about who I represent.
Right.
If I have a great client list, it demands someone to deal with me. And the relationship side has gone out the window,
Yeah.
But we're talking about managers.
Right. Do you have clients with more than one client with the same manager? Does that happen?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think when you have a relationship that's working, that leads to sharing more clients. And when it doesn't work, it also filters out the other direction. So yeah, I think you do find yourself working with managers with multiple clients.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going to break here, and I hope you will join us next week as we continue our discussion with Tom and we get to what you really want to know about. How do you become one of his clients?